let's move on to procurement management. Okay, I think the word procurement, a lot of us are, we are familiar with it. Some of us are not. Okay, I think if you are undergraduate students, normally this will be the first time that you will hear things like this. Okay, but procurement management is a very, very common thing. It's very, very much part of project management. It's about system. It's about a system to deliver the project. In the beginning, when we have scope management, when we do time management, we do cost management, we do various type of management. We are coming up with the scope of work, we are coming up with the time plan, we're coming up with the cost plan, quality plan, and all that. But when it comes to delivery, procurement is coming up with the delivery plan. Okay, so that is the keywords here. We are delivering the project. Okay, and it's about a system, a management systems. It's about coming up with the methods of delivery. It's about coming up with a system that delivers the project. It's like the word procurement is like purchase. It's like buying. If you look at the word procure, okay, it's in English dictionary, it's actually purchase. Okay, it's actually buying, it's actually acquiring. Okay, so it's acquisition. The closest word to me is acquisition. How do you acquire the final product? How did you make it into a reality? Making it into a reality, normally we are putting the concern with construction. Okay, for us it's construction, but for the delivery phase of the delivery phase of the project, before we are doing construction, we need to be thinking about procurement. Procurement is like creating, okay, or establishing a system, a method, the contractual relationship, okay, for people, for all the stakeholders to come together to deliver the project. So before construction will start, construction is a very physical, very practical concentration activities. It's concentration. It's a very practical aspects of the project to realize the project, to make it into a reality. But procurement is the part that you are thinking about how to go about doing it. You see, how to go about setting up a system to purchase, to acquire, to actually make it into a reality. So procurement in construction, both of this stage, okay, is actually under the realization phase, or what we call the delivery phase of the project. Okay, so it is more considered as delivery. It's part of delivery. Without that, you cannot do construction. You see, because this part here is about thinking about delivery on a very strategic level, about the methods, about the methods, and also about the what is that word? It's about the adoption of certain strategies, in order to deliver the project. And it's about what type of contract you're going to be adopting, how you're going to put people together, what kind of relationship that you're going to have with one another. So it's like a very initial phase whereby we try to establish all these things. It's like we are mapping everything out first before we actually go on to the delivery, the actual realization, the actual construction phase. Because when you go on to the construction phase, it's very, very late already. It's like it's already there, the plans are already there. It's all about execution, it's all about actions, it's all about practicality, it's all about getting things done. We are so busy getting things done. Okay? So this is time, the earlier part when doing the delivery is about the delivery phase. It's about procurement, it's about this strategic thinking, it's about these arrangements, it's about how to establish that contractual relationship, and how to establish that particular relationship whereby everybody will later on do their duties and their roles and know their rights accordingly. So procurement actually deals a lot, with setting up that earlier stage, earlier stage of construction, earlier stage of the delivery. Okay, so that is why it is very important. Okay? And what else can I say? Okay, so to acquire the project. So this is a very, very important sort of like a framework. Okay, it's a very important framework. It's like three phase. You have your pre-award phase, you have your award phase, you have your post-award phase. So construction comes is the post-award phase. Okay, so you are in the award cycle, you award the project, and this is the time two things will go together. Physically, we will have construction, and contractually, we are going to do contract administration. So this is a two phase that we are looking at. That this is not two phase. This is a two cycle, two things, two stage that we're looking at, during post-award stage, post-award phase. Phase is bigger, ladies and gentlemen. Phase is bigger. Phase, under phase, we may have different stages. Okay, so phases are always, to me, is bigger. Okay, so under the post-award phase, you will have the construction stage. You will also have the contractual administration stage. And in fact, they are not different from one another. In fact, it is parallel. It's going together at the same time. Anything that you do in a contractual cycle, you are actually portraying and mirroring the construction cycle. Okay, so it's together. So procurement phase is everything. Okay, it's everything. Everything from requirement all the way to contractual cycle. Okay, so this is the whole process of that you need to plan out under this word procurement management. Okay, so if we look at procurement at a very general level, it's about, like I say, not everybody here are civil engineers, not everybody here are in construction, so sometimes I have to remind myself, that we do have other engineers as well. Okay, so so basically on a general level, it's about planning purchase. You plan your acquisition, you have to plan your contracting, and then you are going to solicit your seller's response, and then select your sellers, and then award the contract, and then falls into the delivery, falls into the supply, falls into the actual actions, falls into construction, falls into building, and then at the same time, we're doing contract administration. Then after that, we finish a contract, we hand over the project back to the client, and the client will start use it, and then we're going to be in the operation and maintenance cycle. So these are, on a very general level, this is what procurement is all about. Okay, and basically, we are planning contracting. Okay, we are planning contracting. We are planning what strategies you want to use. Okay, what strategies you want to use to actually acquire. And then you're also planning your contracting. Like what kind of contract you're going to have with the suppliers, with the with the contractors, or with the builders, with the service providers. So planning contracting is pretty much one of the most important aspects, okay, of procurement. And procurement strategies is, of course, the very, very big umbrella that we're talking about here. To know what is your procurement strategies, and then to plan your contract type. And then after that, you're going to plan on to how to solicit seller's response. So this is mainly, normally we call request for quotations, getting your bids or getting your tender ready, you know, your proposals, you know, request for proposals, request for tenders, request for bids, request for quotations, you know, these are what we call request for seller response. And then of course we're going to have evaluation criteria to solicitate, you know. So what kind of solicitation criteria? I'm pretty sure a lot of us, a lot of you will be in this level of work, you know. QSs do a lot of this, you know, and there are managerial level also do a lot of this. All engineers do this part, you know, like consulting engineers will do a lot of this as well, because you are planning all your documents, you know, and all that, so that it can be sent out. And then you will also be part of selecting the sellers, you know, the people who are your contractors, who actually send in their bids and all that. And of course, if you work for government, you know, government agencies do a lot of that as well. Like private client level, client engineers do a lot of this as well, especially on the request for sellers response and select your sellers. So these are quite common. Okay, very, very common activity during solicitation stage. Then once we confirm on who we are going to be doing, who's going to be doing the work for us, post negotiation maybe, then we will actually have the agreement set up. That will be what we call contract. Okay, and then you are going to award contract to certain companies, certain individuals who will actually help you to deliver, who will actually be the one who is going to be delivering the project, or to construct, or to supply, you know, or to provide you with the necessary service, okay, to complete the work that you have listed out for them. Okay? And then we will move into the contract administration stage. So I think these are something that I think we all have done before, okay? Most of us have done this before, just that you may not be able to put it in a very, very specific terms in the sense. So these are actually what we call procurement management. Okay, then of course we have contract close out, and then hand over, proper closing out of contract and all that. So I think the main activities here is to plan for procurement. You need to plan for it, you need to set up procurement processes, and then you can manage the procurement processes, then manage the contract, which is in the contract administration, and then finalizing the contracts, you know, and then finally delivery. Okay. I think that is the basic concept of procurement. Okay, this is the things that we do in procurement. I really like this framework. This is the framework that I use to talk to my students all the time. Okay. This is a very easy framework to understand. Okay, and so much easy that it's very systematic. Okay, so if we look at this framework, the first thing here is pre-award. Okay, so in this pre-award phase, what do we do? You know, so well, what you learn in scope management is very important here. You see, if you haven't got your scope correct, you know, your design, you know, or your calculations, you know, or whatever that you need to list out your product, you know, so your scope, you know, in terms of the product look, in terms of the product requirement, in terms of the components of the product, you know, if you're building a bridge, you know, 2 lanes, 3 lanes, you know, where are the drawings, you know, where are the calculations, you know, is it going to be cable stay? It's going to be like, you know, a box girdle, you know, these are all have to be quite clear, you know, so you have to get your requirement stage correct, see, very much correct first. So that is part of scope management. And then, of course, you also will, at this stage, should know the scope of what, okay? All the activities that needs to be carried out, you know, for you to complete the project or for you to deliver the product. So the product description, the product drawings, anything to describe the product to make people understand what you want, you know, is very important. Okay, this is like today I want to get myself a laptop or a handphone, so or get myself a TV or get myself a rice cooker, for example. You know, I would need to actually know what kind of rice cooker I want. I would need to know what kind of handphone I want. I would need to know my handphone, what I prefer, you know, as the person, as the client here. you know, as a person who wants this thing, okay? So your job as engineer is you have to find all these things properly. So in the requirement documents, okay? In the requirement documents, you need to be very clear. So of course, engineers, we like drawings, you know, we like things with dimensions, you know, we've got pictures, we've got samples, you know, we've got testing material testing report, we do specifications, you know, these are all the things that we need to prepare, you know, for our requirement cycles. Why? Because we need to get people to understand what are we acquiring here. You know, your contractor cannot come in and say that I want to acquire this. I mean, I'm helping you to acquire this. I'm going to help you to build this and let you acquire this. I don't know what you want, you see. The requirement cycle is a time that you really have to do this up properly. Okay, do this up properly. So we got this thing, we've already got our project being approved by certain people, like your major stakeholders, shareholders, you know, it's already stamped. We're going ahead with it. So, you know, previously, whatever things that we went through in scope management, you know, in terms of getting the robustness test, you know, getting the feasibility studies, you know, like all these in project life cycles and all that, you know, you kind of gone through that stage and you know that, okay, this project is go ahead. So we've got our product is going to be like this overall, and it's going to have this component, that component, and then each component will have certain dimensions, certain look, certain colors, you know, and what else are they? And then of course you've got your scope ready. Then after you've got your scope ready, you've gone through all your robustness tests. Yes, this is exactly what we want. This is the options that we want. And then yes, finally we work out on the WBS. What is the WBS? That WBS is your activities, all your work activities, okay? And then into your different layers, you know, into the different details of your work activities. And then we also will get you to do some time planning, you know, also get you to do cost. You see, we went through cost, different levels of costing work will give you different details, you know, because then it will form the budget for the project, and then your project is approved, you know, approved as in terms of the budget, in terms of the timeline, you know, in terms of the look, in terms of the product, in terms of the quality, in terms of the activities, you see. So your requirement cycle has to actually have all this. See? So you have to get ready all these documentations, maybe, you know, or what you need to project your for you to initiate your contract planning. Okay. So once you've got that, your requisition will be initiated. So it's like, okay, I've got this, all these documents are ready. So a lot of consultants, this is the time that you prepare all your tender documents with all your drawings, you know, pages and pages of it, you know, and then your specifications, you know, your specific regulations and rules that you want the sellers to follow, you know, certain materials specifications as well. It's all there. Okay, so it's ready. I mean, of course, there are situations, and it's not like we don't know. There are situations whereby sellers, I mean, the people acquiring, the client, the stakeholders, they don't know what they want. You know, they don't know what they want. I mean, it is very common. Okay, so then if it is in the urgent project, then you may initiate requisition first, you see, and then get your seller or get your contractors to propose. That one is another form of contracting. Okay, so well, it depends on what you have and what you don't have, you know, for us to decide how to initiate this requisition cycle. Okay, but let's talk about it in the normal circumstances whereby, you know, your documents are ready, you know what you want, you know, and you know, as a client, I know I have a picture, I have people that I'm consulting with, you know, they've already done the drawings, they've already done the plans, you know, they've already got to give me the dimension, you know, they've already put in some colors, the architects will put in some colors, you know, and maybe interior designer will also come in and put in some furniture, you know, some drawings, some 3D drawings. I mean, I'm pretty good, you know, I know what I want, you know. And of course, in manufacturing, you probably know this is, at this part of the operation, I will need you to do this. I mean, this machine will need to do this, and then it comes out with this, and then this will go to that particular line. So you've got a good picture. Then project approved, we are going to put money in here. We are going to go ahead with our requisitions, So requisition is initiated. So when requisition is initiated, we are not jumping, and go and say, hey, who wants to come and do the job for me? You're not going to go out and start to buy, start to purchase, So inside that handphone computer, I guess, so you know what you want, you see. So then you say, yes, I'm getting it, I'm going to go and get it now. Okay, but of course, you don't jump in the car and drive out to, City One or to somewhere, to the shopping mall and start to buy a computer or start to buy a car or whatever. So we don't go that far yet, Don't go that far yet. So we pull back a little bit first, okay? So then we say, okay, yes, I'm buying it. I've got the budget, I've got the money, I know what I want, this is the requirement. You've got your list, you've got your shopping list, okay? So it's like before you go to do your Sunday marketing in the market, you've got your marketing list, okay? So this list is ready, so you say, I'm going, okay? So before you go, you need to check a few things, okay? So the thing that you need to check, this is in the requisition cycle. Number one, you need to plan your contracting, okay? So what do you mean? So, you need to know, is my card ready? Is my credit card ready? Is my online transfer ready? Is my, am I ready to sign a contract? Have I got my IC? In some purchase, you need to bring your IC. Some people, you need to bring your passport, So we've got to get these things ready. We've got to get our requisition ready, okay? So you need to plan for it. So the first thing in requisition that you need to plan for is your strategy. So if I'm going to go out there to purchase, what kind of mode of payment am I going to do? What kind of method am I going to use to buy this? You see, am I going to go online shop? Am I going to go to shopping mall to buy? There's many ways of procurement. You see, so procurement strategies is one of the most important planning contracting cycle. Plan on how to contract later. And this is like the biggest umbrella, that covers many things underneath there. Because if this umbrella will have different things hanging down there, that will actually the direction of the entire delivery of the project later, including the realization, including the contract administration, including the contract, including the award, including the tendering, including the request for proposal or for bids. It will be determining. It is like the tone, the pace, the everything that you're going to be doing. It will be based on understanding or selecting the procurement strategy. So the first thing that you are going to select here under the requisition cycle for engineering project, you're going to be selecting the procurement strategies. So procurement strategies, there are some very traditional methods, which we all are very familiar with, like traditional general contracting. Okay. Pretty much we know that. Okay. I mean, like, who doesn't know? Can you raise up your hands? So this is the type of strategies that the client will actually just hire a designer, correct? And then do all the design, and then prepare the documents, and then send it up to the potential builders, contractors, service provider to actually tender for the job or to give you some quotation. So this is what we call traditional general contracting. Very, very common. It's been around for like, I don't know how many centuries. It's been a very common method. It has delivered billions, I don't know, trillions of projects all around the world. Very common. Okay, so it's like that responsibility route is client, everybody, all the stakeholders are very clear. The line of command is also very clear. Client, I engage you as a designer. You are my consultant. I have a contract with you. I sign a contract with you. And you're supposed to provide me with this service. Okay. I'm signing a contract with you as a contractor. You will be my builder. You will be my service provider. You will be my supplier. And this is the duties, this is the requirement that I have for you from you. And you need to do this, and I need to do this is for you as the client. It's like a two separate contract going on. One with the service provider, one with the builders, one with the contract, and one separately with the designers. So this type of contract, this type of procurement strategy has very, very clear line of responsibilities. And normally you will match it with you will always end up with very, very good costing, because basically, you're getting people to compete with one another, and then they will provide you with very, very good pricing. So these are some of the advantage of this type of method. And there's a very, very clear line of responsibilities, who is in charge of what. And if consultants are engaged in the project for supervision level, then it's going to be clearly written down for supervision, and then they are going to be the client's representative, or the government's representative, or whatever kind of work and all that, or the RE, the superintending officers, or the superintendent's officers representative. So I think this will have a mark, an impact on the type of contract that you choose later. And then it will also have a mark and on the tender mode that you will choose later. This method usually will require a lot of the design to be all ready. Most of the design will be all ready, and very, very limited contractors input at the early design stage. It will be very time consuming, because you need to get everything ready first. That will be probably 6 months and above, for most projects, and sometimes can go up to a few years or 1 or 2 years just to plan it out and then get on to the invitation for bidding and tender stage. So these are very common, like I said, one of the most common methods. When things start to progress, society starts to progress, and people think that, sometimes some of this method, this traditional general contracting method can have this disadvantage, because it does put people on very adversarial relationship, meaning that I'm the client, you are the contractor, I've got my consultant coming here to look after my project, so you've got to answer to him, you've got to answer to my representative, so, well, somehow it has created a very sort of like an adversarial relationship, and then it doesn't work in a lot of sense, and a lot of dispute will come up because of that. It does require a lot of documentations, a lot of record keepings and all that. So depending on the type of contract that you choose later, so you have different type of documentations to work with, when you have traditional general contracting. So then when things revolve, people start to think that, contractors' input is very important. A lot of times dispute comes in traditional general contracting is because contractor says that this cannot be done. Your design cannot be done. I cannot do this. Look at the ground condition, at the, the conditions, the unforeseen conditions. So, you didn't get our input, and now we're telling you that we cannot do this, we need to change the design, and then when we change the design, there's going to be time consumed, just to get the VOs, get change order up, and there will be a lot of issues with extension of time, with extra costs and all that. So then people start to think that, hey, why not we just get the contractor to come in, or the service provider, or the the supplier to come in and tell us, like what can be done, what cannot be done first, So that's where you get your design and build. So design and build is another very common nowadays. This design and build is not traditional. It's not modern anymore. It's actually under traditional mode. So design and build mode is very, very old already as well. So it's like a contractor as a single point of reference. So you're inputting the design, and even better, get the contractor to actually design it for you. So then it's the whole responsibilities of design and build will be falling under one consortium or one group of people, and the designer or consultant will actually work under the contractor in a lot of these circumstances. And or you can you just bring in a contractor first and then get them to design and build along the way. So this is design and build. So that actually ensures faster delivery. It actually streamlines communication. It puts a single point of responsibilities. You can exert control. The contractor has a little bit more control over what can be done and what cannot be done. And of course, that sort of like transfer the client's control onto the design over to the contractor, and that in a way sometimes can be a bit dangerous because you don't want a contractor to come up with something really, really exorbitant, and you feel like, like they're doing everything, am I, you know, who is going to watch for me, who is going to look after the project for me, I mean, like everything is part under contractor. So some clients, they feel like they are a bit uncomfortable with that. It's like, they are having a lot of control over what to do, so what can we do? So if your client's office don't have enough of resources, you don't have enough of manpower to actually look after the project, so or to be played part also in the design, or to have very, very deeply involvement in the design, you don't have that kind of expertise or in your organization, then it can be a problem as well. Okay? And the other words that we've heard of is turnkey. Turnkey is, like I said, very, very, very similar with design and build. And in fact, in Malaysia, we use them interchangeably, but actually there's a little bit of difference. Okay, so turnkey, in fact, okay, it's not only design and build. Turnkey contractor can even be involved in early land purchases, in terms of negotiation with other authorities, it can start, can actually comes as early as planning, okay, and submission of plans, and and then also including getting the financing, and then all the way even down to the facilities going to be in operation. So it's like turn the key. So in this case, you have even needing even more less client involvement. So everything is under the turnkey contractor. So there's going to be a very, very high reliance on the contractor's expertise, on the contractor's integrity. It actually just completely reduces the client's control over the project. It's just like JKR, if you have a turnkey contractor, your job is basically just to be there to look after, like to do some supervision, to do a bit of paperwork, everything else is like you don't really think about it anymore, kind of thing. So it's that contractor that is going to be like go all the way to land negotiation, to do all sorts of things, pre and post construction, pre and post design as well. So the range, the level, the spectrum of turnkey is a lot wider, a lot broader than just design and build. Okay, so you get these two understand that way, and yeah, so both of these methods are actually not what we call modern. These three methods are not really what we call the modern methods. They are actually very, very traditional to me already. Okay. Then we also have some things that are a little bit more new in that way, okay, but also slowly becoming not so modern. Okay, like concessional contract. Concessional contracts, I think those that is like something like build, own, operate, transfer, PPP, private concessional models, public-private partnership framework. These are quite common, whereby public sectors will design, build, finance, operate, maintain the projects over a specific period of time, while they have certain arrangements of getting payments from the operation as such, or some form of exchange with the public sectors to actually do the work. So it actually takes a lot of burden of the public sectors. Okay, so it's pretty much efficiently driven by the private sectors. Okay, and so concessional contract, build, own, operate, transfer. There's many types of build, own, operate, transfer. I mean, concessional contracts besides just BOT. There's BOT is build, operate, transfer, build, own, operate, transfer. And then build, design, build. Sorry, design, build. PPP is more on design, build, finance, operate, and then transfer later. So all these are more that kind of strategy. I mean, like, I suppose this kind of strategy, you can say that mainly is to mainly because public sector no money lah, to put it bluntly like that lah, So then you will need the private sectors to come in and in a way finance the design, finance the infrastructure project. Usually these are for infrastructure projects lah, and there is going to be a lot, you need to get the facilities out to the public as soon as possible, but you don't have the money to do that. So therefore, you will need to let the private sectors come in, private organization comes in to drive the project, and then to get it done. And then, but in exchange, nobody's going to do charitable work for you for free, kind of thing. So they will have to charge something, but it may not be charged in terms of dollars and cents, but it can be charged in terms of a lot of exchanges in certain things, like future operation rights, maybe in exchange of other facilities, other land usage, and other stuff. Okay, so that is what we call concessional, and like what we say under concessional contract, PPP, public-private finance, public-private financing. These are all very common methods that build on corporate transfer. These are all very common methods that you will see in concessional contract law. Some people call it concessional contract, but I mean, some people put the BOOT, BOT, DBOT, those sort of contract under concessional strategies, and then their PPP, they would say other things about PPP. PFI, PFI, private financing initiatives. So these are all similar. Okay. Like I said, the model is similar, but it's just the way that a certain group of people categorize it a little bit differently. Some people put everything under concessional. Some people say concessional is those words that are like build on corporate transfer, build transfer, build design transfer. So that one is concessional, and then the PPP and PFI is another story. Okay, and we also have some newer procurement methods. Okay, newer procurement method like partnering. Okay, so partnering is a very collaborative method. Partnering can be very formal. Like if you do have a very formal partnering, then it will be more or less what we call joint venture. Another word that is quite common is joint venture for partnering. Partnering can also be long-term partnering. It can also be project by project basis. Okay, but the hang on with it is, you may not have a contractual arrangement in that sense, a very specific contractual arrangement, if it's a strategic long-term kind of partnering, meaning that you've got good relationship with certain suppliers, you've got good relationship with certain subcontractors. No matter what, most project you will go in together. So, but you don't really sign contract with one another in that sense. But there are certain type of partnering that you will need to sign contract with, like I said, joint venture. Okay. Alliancing is usually we use the word alliancing is whereby everybody would work together. Like there will be a formal agreement, like between the client, designers, and contractors. They are going to be together, involved in joint problem sharing, high level of collaboration, and they're going to deliver the project together. So it's quite like a partnership. It's like an equal partnership sort of thing. So what that they use interchangeably between partnering, alliancing, strategic alliancing, and then joint ventures. These are all like more or less certain categories. Under that certain categories whereby clients, all the stakeholders come together to form some form of long-term partnership or partnering that without having to do any formal agreement, or they can form a very short-term partnership in terms of joint venture. Then you have a formal agreement, or you can have alliancing or very strategic kind of alliance over certain project to work together to deliver the project. The difference between this sort of model with the traditional model is about risk sharing. Okay, so this modern way of partnering, alliancing, different names for this sort of partnering, alliancing, strategic alliancing, or whatever you call it, it's just a matter of long term, short term, and then got contract, no contract, that kind of thing. And then who is responsible for what, who is going to be doing what, and then how we're going to share our risk, how we're going to share our profits, and these are on a certain level trying to get rid and move away from more adversarial relationship that can be seen in traditional models, whereby if you imagine this in traditional models, the client is the boss. You see, like, I'm the boss, I'm the leader here, I'm the one that started the project, I want you to do this, this, this. So it's like you are already putting the other party under you in that sense, or it's like you're putting another party on the opposite end of the table, negotiating with you, like behaving like you are opponents in that way. It's a very natural relationship that is created because of the model. Okay, so it's not like we purposely want to say, okay, I'm going to have a personal relationship with you. Okay, it's not like that, but it's just a very natural, organic growth of adversarial relationship, whereby partnering and alliancing and more of these modern kind of tools will actually move away from that, because you are actually putting people on par with you. We are partners, we are going at this together. There is a lot of more collaborative effort. What can you do? What can I do? What can we all bring onto the table? Okay, so that in a way will reduce disputes, I hope, and then improve efficiency. And it does ensure better alignment of all the stakeholders' interests. Okay, and this is particularly important, especially for complex, large-scale, or especially project that is dealing with new technology, something new, something innovative. It's a solution that nobody have tried before. So you can see a lot of management of a lot of different companies like Apple, like Tesla, like Elon Musk, and all these new age modern management styles. They form that kind of relationship, not only with their staff, not only with their partners, like their consultant or the contractors or the service provider, who is actually outside of the company. They also do that with their own people. They're focused on enabling, they're focused on trying to get people to work together. They try to make staff come together. There's no such thing as the upper management, this is the middle management. Everybody just come in, sit on a table, have a meeting. We're all on the same table, and we are happy to just share ideas. So that kind of management is very new age. It's a very new thing. So there's no such thing as I'm scared of the boss. I need to clock in and clock out. I need to think twice before I talk. I need to know my place in the organization. So it does kind of like enable people. So I think when you are dealing with very intelligent people, like engineers, people with good technical skills, you don't need traditional kind of management. You don't need to motivate people. You don't need to motivate your contractors. You don't need to motivate your suppliers by having a lot of rules and regulations, by having a lot of threats and like harsh manner of doing things. Like when in the old days when some people are uneducated, maybe you need to put fear, you need to push people in certain ways. But like I said, as we move into engineering, we're getting more and more modern, we're getting more and more how do I put it? we are getting a bit more self-motivating, self-initiatives, So with modern strategies like partnering, alliancing, I think it is a bit more putting people on the same table, on the same ground, and then we talk and respect one another. We try to push each other on. We try to let other people be creative. And there's a lot of solutions that comes out because of creativity. Hey, why not we do it like this? It can be over a cup of coffee and say, hey, like this problem, hey, you got any idea? Oh yeah, I thought about it last night. Why don't we do it like this? Some great idea may just come out like that. So when you're dealing with very intelligent people, when you're dealing with very good people, who has not, I mean, like, hopefully there's no integrity issues here, but if not, then actually you will see things move a lot better with these modern management tools, whether you're managing a project or whether you're managing a team of people or whether you're managing your staff or your own organization. So it cannot be limiting anymore. It cannot be controlling anymore. It cannot be just like breathing down your back anymore. Like with traditional method, it's a little bit like breathing down your back. Everything, to write letters, we need to write memos, we need to make sure that we have enough subroutines, who is going to be preparing subroutines, we need to have decision making right then and there, and if you don't do it, we'll punish you. There's EOT, there's LA, I mean, there's LAD, there's claim damage, there's dispute resolution, we use payment, to scare people into doing things, you see. So I think this procurement strategy is like moving away from that. Okay. And I don't know, I mean, like, some places will be a bit slower. Usually if you work for private organization, that would be a bit faster. And whereby, if you're working with government agency, I'm pretty sure you will tell me that, oh, we're still so far away from that. We still need to execute certain level of fist and red tape and bureaucracy to control things, and control our contractors, control our suppliers. We still need to use carrot and stick. We still need to use punishment. You see, so yeah, I mean, that's fine, but what we're telling you is, it may be worthwhile to try other things as well. Okay. And of course, we also have like I said, there's this really traditional one, like traditional general contracting, design and build, okay, turnkey. We also have partnering and alliancing as more modern tools, and we also have another group of what we call, concessionals contract with PPP and PFI and all that. That one I wouldn't say is good or bad. It's just a matter of needs. When your public sectors don't have enough money, you don't have enough of efficiency, then you need your private sectors to come in and help you, and we work together on that. Okay, so we also have other method that I think you will hear of is, I can think of a few. That's IPD, integrated project delivery. This is a little bit like partnering. I mean, like, I don't see much difference. This is probably a new way of calling it, but you're actually signing a shared contract. You're sharing a contract between all your designers, suppliers, everybody. Like with partnering, with alliancing, sorry, is more on the client, designer, contractors, but this one is all parties, so the stakeholders involved is a little bit more. So it's called the integrated project delivery method model. Okay, and this is really a very, very modern kind of method. So there's going to be a lot of high collaboration, shared risk, shared rewards, and yeah. So you share a single contract, you work together in a single contract, you talk about all whatever capability that you have and what you can do, what you can bring onto the table, and what kind of incentives, what kind of model that you be what sort of reward that you want at the end of the day. So it's all listed down there. So this is one collaborative model. And joint venture is like a partnering or alliancing that has formal contract. Okay, formal contract, but joint venture usually would be involving in the delivery, people who are delivering the project, like maybe the designers and the contractors. Okay, whereas alliancing is more on everybody together, and I IPD is even more people together. So it's like a level of involvement here of a different group of people. We also got like things like EPC, engineering, procurement, construction. I think people who work with SEV hear a lot of this. So it's a similar with DNB, but it's usually more for like what we call infrastructure project. That's why you hear a lot of EPC in EV, solar energy, because dealing with infrastructure like hydropower plant, dealing with and energy, electricity supply, solar infrastructure project. Okay, so the contractor is responsible. It's a little bit like turnkey. Okay, turnkey DMB. So the contractor is responsible for all the engineering, procurement of material, construction, and delivery the project into this ready state of use. So this is EPC. Okay. So I think these are some of the contract that that has been floated. I mean, not contract, procurement strategies that has been floating around a lot. Okay, in different places. I mean, in different organizations, and some of this is being adopted by the government as well, and they want to adopt this as well. And then trying. Some people are trying, but depending on the type of engineering, some maybe, like I say, we more into infrastructure, maybe you hear a little bit more. Okay, and I think different country also sometimes they name it differently as well. But the idea is with procurement strategies, the main thing that I want you to remember, what I'm covering with you here is just different types of procurement methods. Okay, every procurement method have delivered projects. So you cannot say what is better, what is the best model. No, there's no such thing. There's only what is suitable for your project. Okay, so that is why you need to understand your requirement cycle. Okay, without that, you literally cannot you actually cannot move into your requisition cycles, because picking the right procurement strategy is essential. It's based on your requirement. Okay, if you have your design ready, if you want to solicit the best price, if you have people to look after the project, if you don't have people to look after the project, if you believe in talking, if you believe in collaboration, if you believe in risk sharing, it depends on the organization culture, organization model, it depends on the mission, it depends on the type of organization that you're working with, it depends on the project, the nature of the project, and the resources and the constraints that you have before you can decide what kind of procurement strategies. And unfortunately, many organizations, I would say government sectors, will just typically use TGC, typically use design and build, and typically use turnkey. That's all. Okay. So I mean, I'm not saying that is wrong, because it works. It works for the nature of the project. You don't have to try new things if you don't have to. Okay. I mean, like, you don't need to be modern just because you want to be. You just need to be modern. It has to be what is suited. It's just like you go shopping and you want to buy yourself a new pair of shoes. You don't have to buy what's the latest model. You can still buy the model that you wear like 20 years ago. The same model, but an improved model. Okay, and you're still comfortable wearing that because that is your requirement. That is all you need. You see, I mean, like, you don't have to use Apple like 14, 15, or 16. I'm happy with my good old, Honor phone. That's fine. So requirement cycle, anything with requisition. What I'm trying to say here is requisition matters a lot, because it sets the pace, it sets the tone, it sets what's going to happen in the future. It sets the future, but how people are going to manage project management. If we don't set the requisition correctly, the whole later on management of the project, especially during the realization, the construction stage, will be a lot more difficult. Okay, and but to start the decision cycle, you need to understand your requirement. Okay, and that is that transition here, that is that flow here. Understand the requirement cycle, get yourself the right procurement strategies, and then from there we move on to the solicitation, award, and the contractual cycle. So then the tone, the pace, the whole framework is set up. Okay, so and what else are we covering here? Okay, so to set up that procurement strategies, you need to understand your project objective. Okay, these are the few things that you need to think about. Okay, besides the scope of work, besides the scope, you need to understand, like I said, the culture of your organization. If you're working for Google, if you're working for Elon Musk, it's a different thing. You see, compared to if you're working for JKR, Malaysia government. So what it is, the culture is the organization. Culture is the organization needs. Is the way that it's being run. And the objective. Of your culture, the objective of the project, the mission and vision of the organization that you're working with, and of course, then your project environment. Your project environment is the same pictures that we're talking about the other day. Look at your project environment. Who is your stakeholders? Who is the authorities involved here? What are the environment? What are the topography, geographical locations? All sorts of project environment. The one that you drew the other day for scope management, this is the same thing. Look at that. Go back and look at that before you think about your procurement strategy. But there will be something that is more suited for that particular environment. So you need to analyze that. Okay, analyze. Go back. You should have already done this. You see, before you even come to this stage. So what is the background? What is the project serve all about? What is the second layer? What are the direct layer? What are the factors? What is your organization, company capacities, culture, and relationship, functional relationship with one another? And what is the authority? The localized factors, and then what are the more globalized factors? What are more national kind of factors? So all these factors will actually look into what kind of procurement strategies would be more suited for your project, for your organization. In-house capacities, what are your resources? What is the resources in terms of finance, technology, materials, and your technical capacities, your talent in your company. Then you can decide what type of people that you can bring on board. What type of people are you managing here? Who are you managing here? Who are you talking to here? Which region do you belong to? If you belong to South Central region, it's very different from if you belong to the Northern region or the Southern region. These are localized factors, organization factors, the project itself, the nature of the project itself, and the organization culture and all that. It makes a lot of difference. Okay, and what else we'll be looking at when we're looking at so requirements, requirements of the project. That one I think we've gone through that. That one is the requirement cycle, and your project definition. And then constraint. You have money constraint, you've got resources constraints or not. That is so important. If you don't have money, what can you do? PFI, PPP, concessional. End of the story. No, we talk about other things. You see, what is time a constraint here? You have time to do design still. What is your resources constraint? You have money constraint, capital constraint. You've got technical constraints. You've got technological constraint. Maybe you've got a wonderful idea, but you've got technological constraint. You don't have the expertise. So you need to do partnering with people who have that technology, with people who can do that. Or you are a tech company, we are a tech company. We have designed, some interesting gadgets, digital something, and then but we don't have project to apply it to. You see, so we don't have portfolios, we don't have money, we cannot go and tender for a project. But we can provide you with all these good things, that can make the project better, that can give people more value for money. Product. But I don't have that history. I don't have that experience with construction or with manufacturing. So I need to work with people. So then you go for company who can work with you, partner with you, or alliance with you, or do partnership with you, or do joint venture with you, or do IPD with you. So that is the kind of model that you may be suited for. You see, so main thing is you need to understand what kind of resources you have, what kind of constraints you have, what is the project requirement, what is the project itself, the scope of works, okay, the requirement, what kind of organization are you dealing with, what kind of local factors are you dealing with, what kind of global factors, what kind of national factors are you dealing with. So this will all mix up together, for you to determine, the approach that you will be using for your procurement. Okay, so procurement strategy, what we've gone through just now, will set the tone. Okay, it will set the tone for the project, for the procurement of the project. Okay, so are we clear on this? Okay, are we clear on this? Okay, so I mean, if you understand where we are going, okay, then you'll be moving into planning for your contracting. So what is planning for your contracting? You need to, once you got your procurement strategies ready, you pick a procurement strategies, then you need to pick a contracting strategy. So what is a contracting strategies? Contracting strategy is like a mode of payment. So are you going to use lump sum contract? Are you going to use, build BQ contract, which means measurement or remeasurement contract? Can you use GMP, guarantee maximum price contract? Can you use cost plus contract? See? So once you've got that stabilized, you've already picked, okay, then you will need to pick the things in the solicitation cycle. So now you've got your contract ready, okay, you know what contract you're going to use, then you're going to pick the procurement strategies plus the contracting strategies. Okay, so this is like the two group of things that you need to pick. Okay, so after you pick, you understand all your constraints, everything all done already, then you need to pick the right, suitable contracting strategies, procurement strategies. Okay, so we then move into request. You're going to look for people to build for you, and that will be the solicitation cycle. Okay, so in the solicitation cycle, okay, so in the solicitation cycle, you are actually going to request for people to come and bid for the project. Okay, so you're going out there now. You are jumping into your car. You're going to a shop to buy your handphone now. Okay, so this is the part of solicitation. You're going out there. So you're going to out there to get the contractor. You're going to go out there to get your service provider. You're going to go out there to get your supplier. So you've already set the mode of payment. You already know what styles, what mode of purchase that you're going to go for. And then you already go what kind of mode of payment that you're going to go for. That is in contracting, and then you are putting in your that solicitation cycles, whereby the two most important thing here is what kind of solicitation mode that you're going to go for. What kind of tendering are you going to go for? Request for quotations. Is it going to be simple request for quotations and then go for a negotiation, or are you going to go for tender? Tender, there is open tender, closed tender, selective tendering, pre-qualification tendering. So I think a lot of us do heard of this before, or do have come into contact with this before. Some of you don't, some of you have. Okay, and then from solicitation, the other most important thing is to pick the contractors, or pick the service providers, or pick the suppliers of the machines, the suppliers of the material, and all that. So when you're doing that, the most important thing here is the criteria of selection. How are you going to select the right people to do the job? So you need to have your criteria, whether you're going to base it on financial capacity, technical capacities, technological capacities, whether you're going to base it on management capacities, whether you're going to base it on experience, whether you're going to base it on price. Okay, very important. A lot of people will say, I want to go for the cheapest. There's nothing wrong with that, So, but some people may not. Some organizations may not. Some organizations, they may look at what is being offered. So then proposal method will be a lot better. So you get all your contractors or your developers or whatever to propose ideas, and propose their thoughts and creativity, and bring it to you, and then do presentation, and then talk about money, talk about cost, talk about their creativity and consideration and what they are bringing onto the table and all that. So that is also one mode of solicitation. So again, two things here: the mode of solicitation and the mode of evaluation. So in terms of solicitation cycle, these two things you need to sort out, you see. And once you've got it all sorted out, of course, we are pacing it out. We've already set up our rubrics or tables or calculation tables or what you call it, to select your contractors. And then some of us may do interviews, post tender meeting. You can do discussion. You can do negotiation. Not only on the price, you can negotiate for better value. Can you also, with this price, add in this? Can you also provide more, a more specific capable management team for my project? Would you be able to give me specific attention? And then would you be able to do this and that? It's like negotiation, add on. It's just like you buy a handphone. You go and buy myself a handphone. Can you give me an extra sticker, or you can give me an extra phone case, or give me an extra cable, or give me extra Bluetooth? Is it a full set plus another 3 years warranty, that kind of thing, So it's plus another 2 years warranty, So we negotiate. It's pretty much, what will happen anyway. So that is to confirm. So once you confirm, you have gone into your award cycle. Okay, so you're awarding first with a letter of award. Okay, dear so and so, dear consortium so and so, dear Mr. So and so. We have decided with great pleasure, we decided to award you with the project, and this is the letter of award. Pending for the signing of the agreement on XYY date. On 2025. Please come to the office or whatever, on what time, what day. All they can do. Before that, of course, we need to all sort out anything. Like price rationalization. Rate rationalization. You add in a lot of extra things or value or whatever. We all negotiate. All done. Okay. So then you award. A letter of award comes out, and then we move into the contractual cycle. The moment you award already, the contractor sign, you sign, go for stamping, the award is there, the date is there. Then we start to move into the actual realization of it. So you can see that procurement set the tone. I always say it sets the tone. It sets the pace, it sets the color, or it sets the palette, the whole palette of the project. It's too late to manage project when you are already in construction. When you are dealing with dispute, when you are dealing with claims, you are already too late. Because it happens already. So when you need to set up the color, all the colors needs to be there. Because when you come to construction, people are just painting according to what you've given them. Okay? So in the beginning, if you set the right tone, the right management way of doing things, the right flow, okay, the right framework, okay, suitable. Let's not use the word right, the suitable framework, okay, suitable framework, and people can work accordingly. They know their roles, they know their responsibilities, they know they will be paid accordingly. They know that the contract is being administered. They know they're being selected very carefully. These are the right people to do the job. Then contract are being followed accordingly, administered accordingly. Why should there be big problems? There shouldn't be a lot of big issues because everything is suitable. When things are suitable, it will flow better. It's not without problem. Definitely there'll be problems. I mean, there's no construction site or no project, no engineering that is without problem. If there's no problem, why you need engineer? Engineer is here to solve problems. Okay? Why you need project manager? Project manager is here to solve problems. Okay? But of course, there's easier way of solving problems, there's smoother way of solving problems, there's also harder way of solving problems. So this is a matter of how do you want to do this, you see? So procurement strategy, why I say it's important, set the palette, set the tone. How? Like Dr. Ting Hong say, set the palette, set the tone. Because the colors are there, the papers are there, the paintbrush are there. What does it mean? Because it means that the relationship is already set up. You've already put people at the right place. You've already put A here, B here, C here, and things are all there. So when you set the procurement strategy, you are setting up that relationship. Who is to report to who? Who is to work with who? Who is parallel with who? Who is on the same level as who? Who is above who? It's all there. Okay, who needs to answer to who? I'm the client, you are the contractor. What do you need to do for me? What do I need to do for you?